walkout. Joining me now, Texas State Representative Senfronia Thompson, Dean of the Texas House Democratic Caucus, and LaTosha Brown, co-founder of Black Voters Matter. And Democratic Caucus Dean Thomas, I want to talk first. I mean, the Occam's razor answer to why this is happening is a guy named Allen West, who I know well. I covered him in Florida. He is cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs-ish, you know, the guy who wanted to march on Washington with bayonets because Barack Obama was elected president. That guy. He is now potentially running for governor against your current governor. Is that why this is happening? Is this why they're rolling out this full blue plate special of insane bills?
I'm wondering why they're really rolling this out at all, because the bill failed last month. And usually when we have a bill that fails, we move forward to the next session of the legislature. So we don't know why we are really here, other than the fact that the governor's running for re-election and he's trying to reach the White House by way of becoming a president.
Yeah. Well, he's trying to roll out all, LaTosha, of the issues, the red meat issues that, you know, get Fox News conservatives excited. Critical race theory. The blacks are coming to get you. The browns are coming to get you at the border. But what they're doing functionally is essentially trying to zero out all the ways that black people vote. You tweeted something earlier today that I feel like people need to read if they didn't see it on Twitter. You wrote this. Let me get this right. Y'all want us to do more work, register more people, and turn out more voters. The last time we did that, we got attacked and now have fewer voting rights. Please explain the logic of why do we have to bear the burden to do more only to get less? I know you have to be exhausted running around trying to fight these voter suppression laws. You seem to be expressing some frustration that activists are having to do it all when the party that supposedly cares the most about black people is in power in Washington.
You know, absolutely. There's a paradox of being black in America, that it seems that all of the political systems, even the political parties that we support, are always leaning towards white comfort. At the end of the day, black folks came out in record historic numbers. Black and brown folks in Texas now make the majority, could possibly make the majority of the electorate, and they're being attacked. What we're seeing that it's not just limited to Texas or even to Georgia. We're seeing that all around this nation. So here it is that voters came out, did what they were supposed to do. They voted, and in fact, they're being attacked. And then the question is, who is going to protect the voter? Who is going to make sure that they put everything on the field just as we did? Why are the Democrats continuing and President Biden continuing to support the filibuster? It is clear that the Republicans have no intention of literally being able to come up to any agreement that will support voting rights, but in fact do the opposite. And so there is a frustration. There's a growing frustration in our community. There should be a growing frustration in America. This is really about democracy. This isn't a partisan issue. But what we do expect is we do expect the party to put everything on the field just as we did in the election.
It shouldn't be a partisan issue, but, you know, as the Republican Party has become a white interest party, they're being very open about that now. They're saying, no, we only want to make sure that, you know, white, rural, and our voters, people who vote for us, can vote, and everybody else, you're not going to be able to. We're just going to make it so hard you can't do it. Dean, I'd love to call you Dean Thompson. I'm going to keep calling you Dean Thompson. Representative Thompson, let me just read through what's in this bill that they want to put through. A new voter ID requirement for vote by mail, banning drive-through voting, banning overnight early voting, criminalizing sending unsolicited applications, and this poll watchers thing. I want to focus on that last thing. What is it that they think that these poll watchers should be allowed to do?
Well, the thing that they want to do is they normally put, I've had experience in this area, they normally put poll watchers in minority areas, and they are normally people of different nationalities than the areas that they place them. And they are there to intimidate the workers, not the workers, but they intimidate the voters. And when people walk into a poll and they see these strange persons in their polling place looking at them mean-spirited, it's frightening. And sometimes they may just get up and walk out.
Are they allowed to be armed? Can those poll watchers be armed?
Well, that's a good question, particularly since we have just passed the permitless gun bill. We know that the person themselves who presides over the poll can, in fact, have a gun. But whether the poll watchers would be permitted to have one is another question. I would predict that they probably could be. And then the most difficult thing is that they're going to be difficult to supervise if they step out of line. You have to find them acting up maybe 2 or 3 times before you can ask them to leave or ask the police to come and ask them to be escorted out.
Right.
And a lot of harm can be done within that period of time.
Indeed. LaTosha, what do you want to see done differently? We civil rights activists met. I don't know if you were able to hear Rev Sharpton and Melanie Campbell talking about the demands they took in. And they told the White House that folks are frustrated. The White House knows folks are frustrated. Do you understand why they seem to be so calmly walking into this? They, too, will not be able. I don't know if they get that they cannot win re-election if they are banned from winning re-election. That even if they get the numbers, they'll just say, no, we erase this off the books. Do you think they get it? What do you want to see them do differently?
You know, not only do I think it's just about getting it around Black voters or whether they win or lost, I think there's a larger question here. Will we have a real democracy? Will democracy be real in this nation when we're talking about voting rights? You know, are we going to protect the rights of citizens to vote for whomever they please? You know, what I would like to see is, one, I would like to see an immediate end to the filibuster. We know what is holding up legislation. We know that that has been a tool that has been used traditionally to stop civil rights legislation. Two, I would like to see the administration do everything in its power to pass For the People Act. We need federal legislation that is going to create a baseline so whether you live in Alabama or Iowa or Texas, you will have equal access to the ballot to vote. And we want to see the John Lewis Voter Advancement Act. And even that in itself is not enough. I think that's a great start. But what is not negotiable is our voting rights. We will be relentless and we are resilient and we are going to keep our foot on the pedal. It is important for us to have voting rights in this country. We showed up and we should not be punished because we participated in voting and using our civil rights.
And you cannot buy people off with infrastructure and a bridge if they can't vote and they have no rights. Anyway, my head's going to explode. Texas Representative Senfronia Thompson and LaTosha Brown, thank you both for being here.